Welcome to Two Chicks and a Horror Flick, a weekly horror movie review podcast. I'm Tawny Ray.
And I'm Felicia Connor. Subscribe to get new episodes every Wednesday. We dive into trivia, drink a little whiskey, and of course, give our no BS opinions.
Join our Discord server or message us on social media to talk all things scary.
And if you like the show, consider supporting us on Patreon.
You can find all these links on our website, twochicksandahorrorflick.com. Thanks for listening.
Now let's get scared. Hello, everyone. Oh my gosh. Welcome back. We've missed you. It's so funny because like the end of last year, we're going to take a break. We had lots of travel and then we're going to kick off the year blazing. And then I mean, the year kicked off just fine. There's lots of relaxation and trips. The travel is lingering into the beginning of the year.
Yes. Yeah, we've kept it going from last year, it feels like.
Yes, but we are happy to be with you today. And today we're talking about Neon Demon. And as you saw yesterday, I posted, well, hopefully you saw, maybe you saw, I posted on Instagram that we're going to have this one episode this month. We'll be recording later this month for March. But this is our one episode. It's Neon Demon. It was Tawny's pick. But before we get into all of that, Tawny, what are you drinking?
I am drinking some water.
Yes, for the water.
Yes. Yeah. What about you?
I am drinking water, but my water has freshly picked lemons from my mom's tree because we went to visit over there in California. So
that's right. I was like, God, how do you know all these people with fucking lemon trees? Like,
I know, right?
What is happening? I need a lemon tree.
Yes. Our neighbors, they brought over lemons, I think, for the last episode. Yes. And then I went and visited my mom and she's like, oh my gosh, our lemon tree is bursting. So God bless all these people with lemon trees because we no longer have one. So
I'm like, I feel like I need one at some point. I have to get good at plants first, but at some point in my future, there is a lemon tree.
Yeah, maybe because I'm trying to get good at plants. It's still a little sketchy for me. But maybe if we just put all of our loving energy into learning how to plant and grow lemon trees specifically.
Yeah. I love that because there's like something that you get out of it. You get to eat. So that's like, I'm way more interested in gardening things that I can eat rather than just fucking flowers or whatever. I don't know. People keep giving us plants and I'm like, please stop giving us plants. They just die. I just kill them. I don't know what you want from me. We have like 2 flowers right now, like a tulip and something else. And I'm like, these are going to die. I don't know what to do.
Everybody that brought you plants and are listening to this episode are like, okay, I brought her the tulips. Yes, they're still alive. I know. I only have remember last year at some point I was in the succulent. I've killed all the succulents, guys.
Oh,
they're not that easy. I have a ZZ plant, which is the easiest. I have a leafy plant over there and a raindrop plant. So they're all these green stemmy plants. The succulents are gone. But in this house, the people who lived here before, they had, I think I told you, the bell peppers and the hot chili peppers and stuff growing in the back. So I harvested all of them. I felt all gardeny and then, took out the plants because it's winter now, they're dead. And then we pickled the jalapenos and I felt super farmer garden-y person. I don't know if we're ever going to have anything again now that that's done and harvested. Lemon tree.
Yeah. I like this idea. We'll just go all in on lemons.
All in on lemons. It's worth it because you can freeze them. You put them in your water, put them in your food. I don't have to tell you guys what to do with lemons. They're fantastic.
I just juice them. I use the lemon juice for like sauces and salad dressings. And yeah, it's just so good.
And
desserts.
Water.
And water.
Ooh, desserts. Yeah. All right. This is the first time Tawny and I have caught up as well for a long time. We check in on each other via Discord, but actually talking. So what's going on?
For like 3 or 4 weeks or something.
Yeah. Where are you at? What's happening in your life?
I actually feel like I have so much to tell you. What do I cut it down to at this point? Jade got me a Kindle for my birthday.
Yay!
Yay. So that's exciting. I'm trying to keep up with the reading with our reading challenge, but it's hard. It's so hard. I just finished a book though. That was incredible. So that put me at like second. The last I checked, I'm second behind Brooke. And I'm like, I don't know where Brooke's finding the time to read so many fucking books.
I know.
But the thing is, my book was so good that now I have like a book hangover and I don't know what to read next. And so I feel like I pulled ahead, but now I'm just going to fall back. But I want to read on my Kindle. Anyway. But we are going to go on a last minute trip. I can't remember if I told you about this, but Jade and his brother and myself and their mom, we're going to go to Universal Studios like this week. Like we're leaving on Thursday. So yeah, we just did like a last minute trip because Jade's brother could only get time off in February this year. And so we were like, well, shit, what are we going to do? And so we slapped together a very last minute quick vacation. So that'll be exciting because I've never been.
Oh, that's awesome. The one in California?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm sure you've been.
Years ago.
Okay.
Guys, I think the last time I was at Universal Studios, because I used to live in California, was when the Jurassic Park ride was new.
Okay.
And it was amazing. So I have no idea now what's going on
what it's
there.
like.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, it'll be exciting.
I can't wait to hear it.
Yeah.
I think they have a Harry Potter portion there, don't they? Or no? Yeah.
They do. That's why I threw it out, because Jade's brother does really like Harry Potter. And so it's kind of like his vacation, really, because it's like his time off. And so I was like, what do you think about this? We could do the like Wizarding World area. So I'm like, I feel like that's going to be where we spend most of our time, probably.
That's going to be so cool. I would love to do that.
I'm excited. It'll be really fun. So yeah, we're going to do that. Okay, so those are life things. And then TV things. Let's pull my list back up. I'll just mention a few things. We watched and finished Mr. and Mrs. Smith, the new show on Amazon, with Maya Erskine from Pen 15 and Donald Glover. That's his name, right? Childish Gambino. I get confused because his dad's name is also, I think, Donald Glover or something really close. Anyway, it was great. Like 10 out of 10 recommend. Have you?
Oh, wow. No, I've not seen this.
Oh, so good. It was so good. It's so like funny. Is
it like the movie? Like the same type of premise?
Kind of. It's they do a little bit of a different take on it, but it is basically the same. You have a couple who are spies, but the way in is a little different, if that makes sense. But I highly recommend checking it out. Okay, so in that same vein, just because of Maya Erskine, she's incredible. She did such a good job in that show. And then on Netflix, they put on a handful of new movies, and there's a movie on there that was made in 2019 called Plus One, and it's got her. It's a rom-com. It's got her and Jack Quaid in it as the leads. And I had never even heard of this, but we just like threw it on the other night because it looked kind of interesting, and we are on a Maya Erskine kick apparently. And it was so fucking good. It was so funny and so good. And just, it was like a shockingly amazing movie. Like it was so much funnier and so much better than we both expected it to be. So highly recommend that as well. Great rom-com on Netflix.
Score.
Yeah. So fun. I feel like I keep, like, that's the problem lately is like I keep watching and reading. Well, reading I only did one, but like really great things. And so now I'm like, well, what do I do? It's hard to like keep it going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I also, last night we finished True Detective. Did you start this?
Ooh, yeah, we started it. We haven't picked up steam with it. We watched several episodes, and then when there started to be a possible supernatural element, I started to lose a little interest, but tell me if I shouldn't. And then Steve really isn't into supernatural, so he's in the same space as me.
Yeah. I'm going to say fucking bail. Get out now.
Okay. You seemed like you were going to come in kind of soft. I'm going to say maybe you're like fucking bail.
No, get out while you still have your time, because Jade and I finished it last night and we were both fucking mad. We were like, this was just a dumpster fire. And we really held out.
It started off so interesting with those guys in that facility and
I know.
I wasn't sure, like, when the lady's brother, that's where we're out. He's like, ooh, in the snow, and we're like, oh.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yes, doing like interpretive dance out in the snow.
Yeah. But then what they found in the snow, I was like, oh, interesting. So, okay, bail. That's a bummer.
Fucking bail. It's I can't believe how actually terrible it was, to be honest with you. Like I don't think I've ever watched something with as many unsatisfying reveals in my entire life. Like, it was just so all over the place, dude. They don't wrap shit up. Like, you basically, there's like one twist in the last episode that you didn't see coming, and that's fucking it. Like, the rest of the episode is just the same shit that you've been watching from episode 1. I don't know. On some level, it's like, if any of our listeners, if you've already started it and you're like deep in it, you may want to just finish it just to fucking see, just to, just to know where it goes. But it was like painful. It was painfully bad. Ugh.
Okay. Well, I'm glad that you watched it and talked to me about it. So now we can bail.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. There's nothing. If you've seen the first 2 episodes, you've seen all the stuff that's good about it. So.
Okay. Yeah.
You've done it. Yeah. God. Okay. Anyway, that was very frustrating. And let's see. The last thing that I'll mention in terms of watching is I did start, because I'm in this, like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to watch or read or anything, because everything's been so good. So let's go to the exact opposite end of the spectrum. And I watched all of what's available for the new season of Love is Blind. And I just, so frustrating, dude. So frustrating. I've resisted the temptation to watch this since like season 2. But I gave in, and I was like, it's such great TV because it's so dramatic and ridiculous. And I can't help myself. It's very good. It's great TV, but God, people are fucking annoying. Anyway.
Are these the ones when they're in the room and they're talking to each other behind, like on the other sides of the wall, and they're like,
yeah, they have
You're
to,
not
like,
supposed
propose.
to ask like what you look like and stuff like that. And then they propose. Yeah. Okay. I've watched a couple seasons when my daughter's home from college. I've seen that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this new season. I just have so many thoughts, but I will reserve them until maybe you watch it, which you don't have to, but God. Anyway, that's what's been going on in my life. Lots of watching stuff. Yeah. What about you? Tell me all of your updates. It's been so long.
I know. Okay. So probably my highlight birthday gift was my mom. My mom is all in on, like, if you say you want to collect something, you have the entire collection the next holiday. Like, she just goes all in. Hence I want to collect Stephen King books. And now the majority of those she got me. But I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I have been, I went kosher. So I've been practicing kosher since December, but part of it was like all the pots and pans and things like that. So I mentioned it to my mom. So for my birthday, she got me a whole new set of cookware, new utensils like forks and spoons and all of that, new like tongs and I was going to call them flippers, spatulas and stuff, those type of utensils, and a brand new set of dishes, a brand new cooking pans, like cookie sheets and stuff, everything. So I'm set. I had a birthday and now I'm set.
You're done.
So that was awesome.
Do you throw away the old stuff, or are you going to keep both?
Oh yeah, keep both because Steve and the kids are not kosher. So we will create a lot of meals that are kosher and they eat them and love them. But a part of it is the pan. Like if you have a pan where you've cooked a vegetarian meal, not vegetables, sorry, vegetables go with everything. It's dairy. So if you've cooked some type of a cream and chicken meal in a pan, that technically that pan is not kosher anymore. So we still have all of those. So because we cook, other things, or they cook other things. I think I don't know all of it, but the process of kashering a pan, that is not kosher. Like if you've cooked dairy and meat in it, like you have to blow torch it. It depends on the material that the pan is made out of.
Right. I'm sure you couldn't do that.
This is just next level.
Yeah. So
the rabbi was like, if your mom is willing to buy you all new things, it's going to be a lot easier. Right. So my stuff is up. I have I spent yesterday, I have shelves for it and everything. Steve can cook with it because he's very conscious, but the kids can't touch it. So that was cool. Then right after that, the whole reason I saw my parents is because we went out to California to get on a cruise. So me and TT and Steve took a 7-day cruise, Puerto Vallarta, Cabo, and Mazatlan. It was so relaxing and so beautiful. And then when we got back, I got to see my 2 grandmas who health-wise have been struggling a bit. So we stayed the weekend and got to spend it with my mom and dad and see my grandmas. So it was really nice to be able to do all that. And then came back to work.
Awesome. Did you get off anywhere? Like, was the weather nice?
Oh yeah, it was beautiful. It was like in the 70s, 75. Nice. Very beautiful. We got off at Cabo, and that is very touristy. So it was kind of fun. It was actually kind of fun because typically from the things that we've done, not typical ports, because I don't know, we haven't cruised as much as other people, but it's like you get off at the port, but then you have to go someplace else. You have to get a ride someplace. And so at Cabo, that whole strip was like trinkets and shops and food. So we got off, had some margaritas. TT didn't, don't worry. Had some food. She actually wanted to get back on the boat because it was such a weird experience for her to see military people walking around with machine guns. Yeah. And she seemed very uncomfortable and looking over her shoulder. And so we were trying to explain to her, it's just a different place. And she seemed uncomfortable with it. And then Puerto Vallarta, Steve actually got sick for 1 whole day. Stomach flu. We don't know what happened to him. Violently ill for 1 whole day. So I took TT off the boat, and in Puerto Vallarta, it was just like stopping at a city. There was just like buildings and everything. There was a mall across the street. So we got off to go to the mall to buy her swim goggles. But again, at that place, in order to leave the port to go to the mall, you had to pass through this thing with armed guards and scan your purses and stuff like that. And so I just think she felt real nervous because it wasn't, and I didn't prep her for that because I didn't even think about that. I don't know. I just didn't even think about that. So
I remember being kind of shocked by that too when we went to Mexico. Seeing Jeeps of people ride by with big guns, and it's jarring because we don't see anything like that, so that's totally understandable. But you don't know until you're there. And I'm sure you don't remember it as an adult until you're back there again.
Yeah. I really wish we could take them all over to the Bahamas cruise Steve and I went on, because their Coco Cay Island is typically what you imagine when you're thinking of going to this beach resort. The experience of getting off at a port and exploring these beautiful beaches. It's not like that because you have to drive to a beach. You have to.
Yeah. I would not want to do that. I would be so afraid I would miss the cruise boat back for sure. I'd be too nervous.
Yeah, we haven't done it yet. Yeah, we haven't gone any. So, anyways, that was a lot of fun. Other than that, my updates as far as things I've watched, I have things I really want to share with you. First, I somehow got addicted to these phone games, Wordscapes and Project Makeover. I'm so freaking addicted. But let me just tell you this. I started playing Wordscapes on the cruise, And Steve saw it and started playing it. Fast forward, by the time we're leaving California, my whole family is playing Wordscapes, and we're all like on a Wordscape team that I created. Okay, so that's enough about that.
It's a phone game, though, is what you said, right?
It's a phone game. Yeah,
okay.
It's totally a phone game, and everyone's addicted.
Funny.
What I've watched. Okay, Love on the Spectrum season 2. God, I love that show.
I did start that. Yeah.
If you just want to feel good, just watch it. It's so happy and awesome. And I just really love it. And then I had a really long holiday weekend of true crime. So I am now feeling the romance itch. I watched A Lover, Stalker, Killer on Netflix. So good. Totally watch it. Twists and turns. You're like, what the? Oh my God. It was really good. They Called Him Mostly Harmless. This was on HBO Max. That was interesting. That definitely was interesting, and I was along for the ride. I don't think not as shocking or twisty-turny, but very interesting. Oh my God, you guys. Griselda on Netflix. What
even is this?
Oh my gosh. It has, her... Sophia. Oh, her name is totally escaping me. Yes. Excellent. So it's about Griselda, who was, it's a true story, a female narco, like a female crime lord, cocaine smuggling woman.
Okay.
I'm saying all the wrong things, but if you've seen Narco, that goes all the drug lords, they're all men. She's a woman drug lord. And what she did to grow it. Oh, wow, guys, do it. So good. And the acting is phenomenal. So please watch Griselda on Netflix. It's excellent.
Is it a movie or a show?
It's a show. So you can watch, it's a series. So you can watch episodes. And last, as far as watching, I'm way behind the ball. I am so into The Big Bang Theory.
Oh God.
I have never seen it. And Steve just put it on and started with episode 1. And I'm like crying with laughter. And I'm just, every episode I'm laughing. I don't know. I think we're totally binging it. We just have it on all day long. So I don't know. We're in season 3 now. I think what sparked it is because we've also watched all of Young Sheldon. And we really like that. And so I think Steve was like, oh, let me put this on. And now I am pretty obsessed. Last but not least, I'll update my reading once I actually finish these darn books, but listening to. Okay, so my daughter and she is into the Morbid podcast and was like, Mom, please listen to Morbid. And I'm like, if you listen to Annie Elise, her Seriously, and that chapter, I'll listen to Morbid. So we switched episodes. She's like, I can listen to anything now that I listen to the Toy Box Killer. And I'm like, all right, I'll listen to it. I've listened to more than you. So I'll give you something disturbing then. And I had her listen to. So the first thing I listened to was Seriously, which is, I talked about Annie Elise 10 to Life. She has a podcast, Seriously. A lot of the episodes are cross-shared. So wherever you're at, you can hear it. Just listen to the Harmony Montgomery update. I wanted to mention that because this case, I'm not going to go through the case. Don't worry. I just wanted to say this case with this little girl, Harmony, it just like really stuck with me. She has a whole series on YouTube of videos about this sweet little girl. And I guess her shithole monster of if you can call him a father, is on trial. So more stuff is coming out. And so she did an update. So that's what I shared with my oldest daughter to listen to. I only mention it because I know some people don't like true crime, and I totally get it. It's just, I also like to mention it because I think it's important for these victims' voices to be heard and their stories to be shared. So if you do like true crime, definitely check that out. And then my daughter gave me episode 20 and 21 of the Morbid podcast on the Toy Box Killer. First of all, Morbid podcast is one of my new faves. These women are hilarious. They are so fucking good. I love them. I started binging them. Second, if you guys haven't heard of the Toy Box Killer, I'm not going to share anything. All I can say, I was deeply, deeply disturbed. And you know how much stuff I've listened to and watched. It's 2-parter. after the first part, I had to do some meditation. I had to binge The Big Bang Theory. It was very, very extremely disturbing. Then I finished the second part yesterday. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to say. I feel like saying like, wow, what a story. If you like true crime, you should definitely listen to it. But it's also just really, really horrible.
Yeah, I'm sure it's tough. I feel like I've heard of it a lot. I'm not quite sure if I've heard the story. I might have, because it sounds familiar, but I can't remember if I know anything about it.
And even though it's called Toy Box Killer, it doesn't have anything to do with kids. So if you like true crime, but not true crime about children, then it's still disturbing. It's not doing anything to do with kids.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Along the lines of true crime, I think because I watched American Nightmare and I told you to watch it, and then you did, but you had already heard the story. Did you end up finishing that series?
You know what? I was looking at my Discord where I log everything that I've watched. I didn't know if I had told you about that already. Because I finished The House of Usher, which was really good. Yeah. And then I did finish that. It was really good because I had remembered pieces. So I did ultimately know what the ending was. But I didn't know some of all the other details that were a part of it.
Okay.
So it was very good.
Yeah. I feel like it's a better experience, though, if you don't know what's going on, for sure.
Yeah. Steve, I think, probably had even a better experience because he watched it with me and he didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, that was really good. But it was nice because no one died. Like, it wasn't like a true crime about a murder. I mean, again, it's still disturbing and bad things happen. And so be prepared for that. But like so much true crime, I feel like it's about people being murdered. And so it's kind of like refreshing to watch something or consume something that's not that. And it's, again, still disturbing, but yeah.
Yes. Last night, I just finished, but it was called The Truth About Jim. Okay, guys, this was on HBO Max. Definitely watch it. It is about this family who thinks they're the girl who is, or the woman who is making the documentary thinks that her step-grandfather might have been a serial killer.
Okay.
And this really does give you a return on the investment. Sometimes you see, okay, they're going through this journey, and at the end it's like, I don't really know either way of anything. Oh my gosh, it's phenomenal. It's a really powerful and amazing story. I definitely take a look.
Are you saying that it doesn't do that? Like there is
No, it does. There is a return on the investment.
Okay.
There's some really, really powerful things that happen. So definitely check that one out.
Okay. Noted.
And that's that.
And now it's time for some romance. Definitely watch that Plus One. It was so fucking funny and so good. And like, man, that was a hidden gem. Okay,
I'm definitely going to watch that. I need it immediately. And the more Big Bang. I'm just fill myself with laughter and love. All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed listening to all of our catch up. Let's go ahead and get into the movie. I'm just looking over here. Sorry, it's just where my notes are. Neon Demon 2016. Watched it on Amazon Prime. I believe it's an Amazon Prime original, right?
Yeah.
The director was Nicolas Winding Refn.
Mm-hmm. I don't know how you say it.
It's literally REFN. So
Refn.
Refn. Valhalla Rising. He's done Drive. I saw that and I was like, oh, Tawny. Only God Forgives and Too Old to Die Young. I've heard of Valhalla Rising. I don't know. I've only heard of really Drive though, I think.
Yeah, he also did Bronson and the Pusher trilogy. There's like 3 Pusher movies. After watching Drive, I became obsessed and I watched a good handful of his movies. Drive is by far and away his best film. Valhalla Rising, I tried really hard to get into that, but couldn't finish it. It's just so boring. There's like really not a lot that happens. Bronson was pretty good. But the Neon Demon, I mean, has always been, I feel like, my second favorite of his that I've seen. I'm trying to remember if there was any others that I've seen of his. Oh, Only God Forgives is terrible.
Okay.
I watched that because it has Ryan Gosling in it, but it was bad. So bad. So it's hit and miss, but I have seen a lot of this guy's movies.
I'm glad you mentioned the other two because I saw them and they were listed first, but I never heard of it. So I thought, oh, yeah, nobody knows what this is. So I moved on. Apparently they do. So that's good. I did put, especially for this movie, the cinematographer, which is Natasha Breyer.
Yeah.
The cast. So we have Elle Fanning as Jessie. I'm a huge Elle Fanning fan. I love her. Keanu Reeves as Hank. I don't know why he says his name. Keanu Reeves. I also love Keanu Reeves. Abby Lee as Sarah. Bella Heathcote as Gigi. And Jenna Malone as Ruby. There's lots of other people in there too, and people you would recognize, but these were like the main people in the majority of the movie. So that's why I listed them. The stats. So the budget was $7 million and the box office was $3.4 million. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 59%. IMDb gave it a 6.1 out of 10. And then Letterboxd a 3.2 out of 5. I am going to move my notes over to this side of the screen because I am tired of not looking at you. Okay, I have a little summary here. Jessie, Elle Fanning, moves to Los Angeles just after her 16th birthday to launch a career as a model. The head of her agency tells the innocent teen that she has the qualities to become a top star. Jessie soon faces the wrath of ruthless vixens who despise her fresh-faced beauty. On top of that, she must contend with a seedy motel manager, a creepy photographer. As Jessie starts to take the fashion world by storm, her personality changes in ways that could help her against her cutthroat rivals. Maybe not. All right. So, Tawny, how did you like this movie?
I'm going to be honest. I was really disappointed by this. I disappointed myself.
You've seen it before. Was it a rewatch?
Yes.
Okay.
So I had only seen it once before, and it's been on my list since we started the podcast as one of the movies that I wanted to watch and talk about at some point. I don't remember my first watch walking away from this feeling like that was amazing. That was an amazing movie. But I remember feeling like, wow, that was cool. That was like weird and cool and kind of unexpected. And when you said in our like year in review episode, you were like, I want to do more. I want to read more about witches. Or I think you were just saying like something about content about witches. And I was like, the Neon Demon, right, is what I thought. Because I was like, this is like a secret witch movie. You don't know until the end what you're watching. But I remembered liking it. And so I was like, let's do this. But rewatching it, I was like, God, there's parts of this movie that are like painful. And like, I didn't remember all the details about like the ending. I remembered the shocking parts of the ending. And I think that's what stuck in my head. But I didn't, like, I thought she came back or something. I don't know. And so I disappointed myself and I was like, oh God, Felicia's probably not going to love it. I think you're going to like parts of this. Let me just make an assumption because I feel like it's kind of a movie for you. Like there's like a lot of things. And that was my thinking is I was like, if I were to pick a movie that I thought Felicia would like, it's this movie because of Elle Fanning. She's great. Okay. There's also kind of this like element of like makeup that is there, you know, like the makeup artist and then secret witches. So, but I feel like I missed the mark here. I didn't hate it, but it was a rough rewatch, to be honest. How did you feel?
I think you hit the nail on the head. I did like it. So when I was watching it, there were elements I liked, definitely parts that were slow. And I was really like intrigued and not sure if I liked it. And then the more I sat with it, because I watched it in January, right when you had mentioned it, now that I think back on it, I'm like, oh yeah, there were some elements I really, really liked. And there is, I think that this this person, his name is Derek Jacobs from Plot and Theme. It's a website. Not sure if it's like a printed publication or not, but he said something that I thought was perfect. Okay. Because this is how I felt. So thank you very much, Derek. The visual aesthetic of Refn's film is very fluorescent, and the characters are made to look incredibly artificial with their makeup and clothes, especially when on a shoot. Many night scenes in clubs or on catwalks feature blinking or glowing lights, which are completely drowned out by darkness in between flashes, producing a kind of strobe effect. That wasn't really, that did happen. This was the main portion. I should have deleted that, but hey, that happened. Often these sequences signify some crucial moment of the character's mental state and are rarely played for strict advancement of the narrative. This can be frustrating at times as it feels that Refn is meandering, favoring an incredibly artsy style in favor of moving the plot. But as a proxy for intimate character development, most of the sequence works just fine. So I could have really cut that down for y'all by saying that one piece. I felt it was visually beautiful. I liked all of the actors. I thought it was curious. I thought the horrific parts of it were horrific, which was excellent. And then I felt like exactly what he said there. This can be frustrating at times as it feels that Refn is meandering, favoring an incredibly artsy style in favor of moving the plot. So for example, when she's in the room with the triangles and, you know, I get the significance of the triangles, but then she's kissing this and then kissing this side of the mirror, and it's just like going on, and I'm waiting for this, like, ooh, what does this mean? And it really, I mean, maybe it was signifying the witches and stuff, but it was, I don't know. There was a lot of that. And then there was really moments that stuck with me. Like I was terrified with the guy that tried to break into her room and then went into the next room and was like brutalizing that woman next to her while she listened. Visually, it was very beautiful. I thought it was a really good interpretation of what it's like, in my opinion, to be in LA and to be within that industry. When I was younger, I was doing modeling, like commercial modeling though. And so not even in it as much as, you know, other people are. And then taking like acting classes at the CBS studio and just being in that whole environment of people. God, their whole hopes and dreams are becoming the next big actress or the next big model, and just how you're let down and how you are almost even degraded, especially in modeling, how it's down. It doesn't even matter if you have a good personality. It's just down to your body. And then I don't like LA that much, guys, because I grew up in that area. So it feels very much like that to me. And so I really loved all of that about it. I thought it was a really great job. Okay. Okay. I'm done now.
Got it. Okay.
With that spiel. So I liked it. I wondered if I would like it as a rewatch, because part of me wanted to rewatch it. I didn't, because I just watched it so recently. But I'm wondering if maybe I should just sit with my original take on it.
I would say, as somebody who rewatched it, this is like a one and done. Like, you saw it, you got it. Like, don't rewatch it, because it is slow. I was finding myself, definitely there were moments where I was like, come on, this could have been like, it's like 2 hours, I think, right? It's like, it could have been 30 minutes shorter. It's like just way too long.
100%.
Okay. So yeah, we'll get into, I think, some more details about that, but let's take a quick little segue here, because I know that you had some magic mind experience on the cruise to get into.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about that. Going on the cruise, I had thought to myself when I was packing, do I take this magic mind? And at first I was like, no, I'm not going to bring him with me, because I don't need energy, right? This is relaxation, focus. There's going to be utmost amounts of time for me to focus on a cruise where we're just meant to relax. I just grabbed him. I grabbed him last minute. I was like, yeah, let's go ahead and do this and let's just see. So on the third day, I was like, oh, you know what? We're at sea. let me give this a shot. Let me give it a shot really for the focus and for the getting in the flow. I'm ultimately relaxed. I've napped and slept in. So I am very well rested. So I took it for that. And I found it was a super cool experience because being in an environment that promoted relaxation and calm, I really felt myself drop into that flow. That was really what I was looking for. And so when I drank the Little Magic Mind, I really dropped into that flow. I was able to, I have this short story idea that I've been thinking about, I've wanted to do, and I mapped out that whole thing. I used I got this little Alpha FreeWrite typewriter and cool. I pulled it out and I started clickety-clacketing away on my story. And I found it lasted longer too. I don't know why, but I feel like it might have lasted longer. So if there was a break where then we went and maybe had lunch, when I came back to the pool, everyone got into the pool, I was able to drop right back in. So it was an awesome experience. I know I've told you about ingredients in the past that promote all of this, but one of them I haven't talked about was Bacopa Monnieri. Hopefully I said that right. That's a nootropic that improves your attention span, your ability to process and learn new information, and your memory. Super, super good stuff. It was just a really cool experience. I highly recommend it. Again, I almost didn't even do it because I was like, oh, I don't need, when you think about doing your day job, you're like, oh, I need the focus. I need this. Oh, I don't need anything. I'm just relaxing. Yeah, it was very cool to be able to feel it like that.
I totally know what you mean, because you wouldn't think about like, oh, I'm on vacation. I need focus and energy and whatever, because you're like, I'm just chilling. But it makes sense now that you say all that it would be a different level of like focus and flow because you're not like under more stress or under deadline or whatever, like you are in your day job or your work or like even just at home when you're like trying to do stuff, because it's like there's so many other responsibilities. So that's interesting because I wouldn't have thought that either. I wouldn't have been like, oh, let me take these on my trip. But I'm about to go on a trip, so I'm going to take them too.
Yeah, there's nothing. Thank you, Tawny. I should run everything I say by Tawny. She sums it up real nice. There's nothing else competing.
Yeah.
There's nothing else competing. So you're able to just really drop in. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yes. Awesome. So with all that, you can go and check out Magic Mind for yourself, because we have a little discount code for you. So if you go to magicmind.com/Jan, Jan, twochicks, TWOCHICKS, and use the promo code 2chicks20. So that's TWO, 2 is spelled out first time, CHICKS 20. You can get 20% off of any order. So that's like first time order or a subscription order. And we definitely recommend checking it out.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Awesome. Okay. So let's get back into our detailed movie discussion.
Yes. All right. These ladies could have used some Magic Mind. Maybe to get them into a different headspace. Whew. With all of this weird stuff we said, I did have this one line summary of the themes. So the film explores themes such as the male gaze, the danger of Los Angeles, and the corruption of beauty. And I thought they did a really good job at doing that. Just so visually beautiful. I had fun. I mean, I only have a couple graphics for this movie. I feel like I want to make even more because the graphics, like the movie posters for this movie, are just so beautiful. It opens up so beautiful with her with this like candy stuck to her and like blood. Yeah. This photo shoot that she's in is just, you're just locked in. It's so gorgeous. Everything is neon and bright. And you're right. I love makeup. Oof.
Yeah. Yeah. And I feel like, I mean, I'm not an expert in makeup. Maybe you had a different take, but I feel like the makeup in this is really incredible. Like It looks really good. And like Elle Fanning is just gorgeous all the way through. And I think sometimes there's like a tendency to like to overly make up people in movies, but I feel like they just nailed it. Like she she looks incredible throughout the entire movie. And so it's believable, I think, to some degree, the amount that everybody's obsessed with her, because she is just so gorgeous, but like in a very natural way.
Yeah, they really picked a perfect cast because everybody is beautiful, but Elle Fanning does just have this intoxicating beauty.
Yeah.
And very naturally, you know, not with a lot of makeup. And now that you mention that, the other characters are beautiful women. They're almost overly made up, not overly made up where you notice it and it's off-putting. But now that I'm thinking about it, so much makeup that even it almost ages them a little bit, even though all of these actresses are young, beautiful women, it almost ages them a little bit. It's this harshness about them. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it's interesting to hear you say that it is similar to how it would be in Hollywood, basically, because I felt that, but I've never been there or been a part of this. But it, you know, obviously it's a little over the top probably from how it would be. But
yeah, people
but it
aren't
feels
like
close.
Sucking the blood out of someone's open hand wound and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely, I feel like it's very artistically dramatized of exactly what it's like, honestly.
Yeah.
Because you have, so for example, when she was in doing that photo shoot with this big top photographer and he wants her to get completely naked, I have heard of, because I love fashion documentaries and all types of stuff with fashion and makeup. And I've heard that has happened. And there has been maybe photographers that totally took advantage of, you know, the situation. But being in that situation where do I just do it, or am I going to be the one that walks away from this opportunity? Maybe this person isn't a perv. It really is like artistically, because you've seen a lot of beautiful pictures in fashion magazines where the women are not dressed, right? So is this something that's going to advance my career, or is this something where now I'm going to be a victim? Totally. And then, the whole thing. So I can tell you, I was at an audition in LA and I heard these two girls were talking. I'm kid you not. And she was saying, I was kind of listening in. And she's like, what I love to do if I'm getting hungry and I don't want the calories is I soak cotton balls in orange juice and I swallow them, like, oh my God, that's such a good idea. And I'm just listening going, oh my God, like this is insane. So just different as far as just being so focused on your body. So it fills you up, but you're not eating any calories. So you can
but she was eating the cotton ball.
Oh, I totally told that story lame if you didn't. Yes.
Okay,
She was swallowing them. She was eating them, like swallowing them. Yes.
I don't know why in my head I thought you meant that she just put it in her mouth to like.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's stupid. Just drink a cup of juice, bitch.
I know, that's what I was thinking. But I think, that was a silly thought of mine.
No, that was my bad. Sorry, guys. Yeah, she was swallowing them, so it'd fill her up, but she wasn't getting the calories. There's very much just this focus on your body. I worked for a talent agency. I won't say the name, but I worked for a talent agency when I was in college as an intern, and I was in the children's department of the talent agency. It just blew my mind. The parents, I would call them to tell them about, hey, we would like to send your child on this audition. That was like my job. And the parents would be like, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, whatever they need to wear, whatever they need to do. They don't even care. They don't even care any of the stipulations. Just I'll get my kid there because I want them to be a star. And then
wild.
All of the other people that I knew, I just was constantly, I was a part of like student films because I was just hanging out with all of these people that wanted to be actors. And it's depressing. And people romanticize these places. Growing up there, it's dirty and sleazy, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. And I feel like they do a good job of showing that in this movie, how sleazy it is, because it's scary. Like a lot of the fear a lot of the, you know, scariness about this movie is like thinking about this woman being in these like terrible situations. Like, number one, she's constantly being assessed, and it feels like she's swimming with sharks, right? And, you know, we keep getting put in these situations with her, like with the photographer. Even the first shoot with the photographer boyfriend, we open the movie that way, and so we don't know. But there's just this sense of like, she is the prey, and everyone is a predator around her. And so I feel like that's really cool and well done. And yeah, that whole sequence with, what's his name? I don't remember the actor, but he was in Dexter.
Oh, yeah.
The photographer guy.
Mm-hmm.
He does an amazing job of being like very scary and intimidating. And that one too, you know, like even the girl is like, I can stay. And he's like, no, leave. Ugh, it's just like, you're so scared.
And you're going to leave because it's the industry. You don't want to
ruffle feathers.
Get a job. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes. And then how her personality changes, right? So she can stay being this sweet girl. And of course, we all want her to, stay the sweet girl. That's nice. But to survive in that industry, you can't. It's a dog eat dog, right? In nature, in LA. So you almost aren't going to survive if you stay this sweet, innocent person. You kind of have to warp to have that same type of personality. Here's a very small real life example. I went to, it was Neil Patrick Harris's birthday. And so I did not know him, but someone who invited me was on the show, that Neil Patrick Harris's friend was on the show. So we got invited to the birthday party.
Okay.
And I remember I was standing there and I was talking to this group of people. And I was mentioning, because this was when I was interning at that talent agency. And I was like, yeah, I think I might want to be an agent. So not actually try to break into all of this mess, but I'd like to be an agent. And the girl was being really nice. And she's like, oh, you would never make it. And I'm like, why? Yes, I could. And she's like, you're too nice. There's no way. You would never be successful here. You're too nice.
Wow.
So this
even as an agent.
Yeah. When you were talking about how sweet she was, and then, you know, when her personality changed, I was thinking that you have to, and especially the thick skin you have to have, and the like, people pretend they like you. They really don't. If you think about it, how hard is it? Even the friends you're making, you're in competition with them.
Yeah.
Like you and I are I'm way older than you, so that doesn't make sense. But when you are making friends with these people that you're auditioning with, they are also your competition.
Yeah.
I feel like it's very unhealthy.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Woo,
and you know
what's going on?
You know what's interesting about her changing too? Because I was thinking in my head, like rewatching it in the beginning of the movie, they say, they're like, oh, don't worry. They like that look, that deer in the headlights, doe-eyed thing. It's like the innocence, right? So I'm thinking in the beginning of the movie, like this is a movie about just coveting like youth, basically. Like, and I don't know. In the end, I'm not quite sure if that was probably one of the themes, but I don't know that they like tied that up as well as I thought. But now that we're talking about it, I wonder about when she does change. Finally, that's when they kill her and consume, basically. That's how I took it, is like they consume her youth and her beauty to further their own selfish pursuit. And I don't know, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something about like when she did change and she became jaded, she like, maybe it's just what am I trying to say? Like metaphor for like she became the same. Because I was thinking like, I just thought she came back for some reason. In my memory, I feel like I remembered her coming back to life somehow. then I was like, how is this going to happen? But it didn't happen. I made it up in my head. But I feel like it would have been cool.
It is weird that it seems like she should be. I was surprised she died. I also was expecting her to remain on something.
Yeah.
But she was dead. And that was that. After all of that.
Yeah.
All of her fighting her way, one-upping these girls. Then they kill her. and eat
that's
her.
the end.
And not eat her in the nice way. Eat her in the bad way. They actually ate her.
Actually ate her. Also, the first time I watched this, I'm thinking, because she says, like, I ate her. If somebody asks, did somebody ever steal your job? She's like, yeah. She's like, what did you do? I ate her. And I was like, no way. Did they actually eat her? No way. But they fucking did. Because then that other woman throws up an eyeball. And you're like, oh, God, this is fucking holy shit. And so I think maybe that's what I liked about the first watch was it was so shocking and I like wasn't expecting it. But
yes. I have a quote from Derek Jacobs again, plot and theme. The film examines the dog-eat-dog nature of modeling industry and displays the depravity that the pursuit of beauty encourages. Yeah. I have a lot of different little quotes by him. So if you want to read his article, I mean, I thought that he was, he had a lot of really great stuff to say. The whole thing you mentioned about the witch. So I was reading a lot of stuff and the witches never came up. And then I saw what is the meaning of the triangles? And then it said, oh, it's because this story, these ladies are witches. And I'm like, oh shit. I didn't even pick up on I know that they ate her and bathed in her blood. And I thought, oh, that is very, very witch-like. But I didn't put two. And then wasn't there this empress or this queen or someone who used to kill virgins and bathe in their blood? I heard a story about this woman. And anyways, I don't remember.
I don't know. That's not
so I thought of those things, but I didn't know that was actually something that they were trying to portray here was witches.
Yeah, it's a lot more loose than I remembered it being. And maybe I don't know. Because they don't say any of that explicitly. But the triangle, I'm curious to know what the triangle was, because I picked up that one of the models is wearing like a triangle necklace at the beginning. So I was thinking, like, are they a coven? Like, they don't seem, those three, the two models and the makeup artist, they seem like they're always together, but they don't actually seem like that close. So I wasn't 100% on that.
Yeah, I agree. It said, I do have something here. In the occults, the triangle is a very powerful image for female empowerment. And each point of the triangle represents, and then for the movie, each point of the triangle represents the three witches, Sarah, Ruby, and Gigi, and it was made neon because the film was called Neon Demon. So this is someone's opinion. This isn't like from the director or anything like that. I totally agree with you. These women seem like they hang out in a very Hollywood way. Ruby has been their makeup artist and probably seen them on a lot of shoots. And so they go and they hang out together, but not anything like they're a coven. Besides their raging jealousy for Jesse bringing them together more. I didn't feel like this was something they always do, unless those three are the epitome of the industry. And this is the industry chewing up and spitting out new, naive, young talent on the scene. But yeah, I didn't get a big, heavy, they are witches, besides when they're actually bathing in blood.
And then she is laying in the dirt. I wasn't quite sure what that was supposed to be either, because it insinuates that they buried her, but they also ate her. So I'm not 100%, but that felt very witch-like to me. And then she lays down in the moonlight and I don't know.
Blood gushes out of her.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what that was supposed to represent.
I thought she died. I thought it was so I thought that she dug a grave because her intention was to kill her, but then they just took it up a notch and ate her.
Okay.
So then she was in the grave, maybe a little grave humping or something is what she like. She got in the grave to be like closer to her. I don't know. This is all fucking random. I have no idea.
Right.
And then
we're reaching here.
And then Jesse almost like killed her from inside out.
Okay. I would like that. I would like that, but I don't know if that's what they were going for, because she looked happy. She looked like she was planning whatever that was. She was going to lay down in the moon strip, and there was some kind of like birth thing happening. I don't know. I wasn't sure.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, you're right. Maybe it was like almost like she was reborn, right? Because she consumed her. Oof, I should have rewatched it.
Maybe. I don't know. But like, it doesn't connect the dots for you, the movie itself. Mm-hmm. But I just kept thinking, again, in the beginning of the movie, Jessie has a conversation with her like boyfriend guy. And she's like, I used to go out and look at the moon, and the moon was like a big eye, always watching me, right? So I'm thinking, okay, I know that we're headed for witches, right? I know from watching this before. So like, is she some sort of like, I don't know, blessed woman? Is she also a witch? Like I just kept thinking they're going to try to, kill her, and she's going to have revenge on them in some way because she's like more powerful than they are and they're not expecting it. And, you're kind of given hints of that all throughout the movie where she's like, my mom said I was dangerous. There's just all of this like pointing us to that direction, but that's not where we land. Like, yes, let's assume maybe that Ruby died. I'm not 100% sure. She didn't. I don't know. It seemed like a positive thing when she laid down and did that to her. But at least one of the girls dies. But the second model woman eats that fucking thrown up eyeball and goes back about her business. Like, I don't know. It didn't feel satisfying in any kind of way. And it really didn't like tie up any of the themes in a way that I felt like was satisfying. But I was like, maybe I'm missing it, Yeah,
I personally don't even like the witch theme because I don't feel like they did enough with it. If these were witches, I like everything you said. That maybe this girl is something special and these other witches, somehow she overpowers them because she is special. But I don't feel like there was enough about these women being witches. I did not even pick it up until I was doing research. All the themes about beauty and superficiality and Hollywood, 100% right in my face, got it and liked it. But this witch thing?
Yeah. It could have been done a lot better. Like,
yes.
There's like little hints. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say, I have this thing because it says I got this from someplace else, probably, I don't know where. Maybe IMDb. At the end of the story, Jessie is literally devoured by Ruby, Gigi, and Sarah. A not so subtle visualization of how an innocent, sweet girl is destroyed by a town like Los Angeles in the fashion industry. Yes. If it is, oh no, she's devoured because they're witches. And okay, that didn't come across to this person either as much. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like a lot of the stuff I read was all about that. Beauty, fashion, all of that. It wasn't until I saw the quote, what does this triangle mean, that I saw the reference to witches.
Yeah. And
I'm not saying he wasn't trying to do witches. I'm just saying I don't think it was strong.
No, it wasn't. It definitely wasn't. And I do think that the most prevalent theme does seem to kind of be beauty and whatever. And I do also like the addition of like consumption. And I feel like we've talked about this a lot through a lot of movies, like mostly actually now that it's February again, last February when we did our romantic horror, love story horror set, like there was a lot of themes of consumption because it's like when you covet something so much and you want it, like you want to consume, there's like this level of consumption. And I feel that here, that was definitely present in Saltburn to some degree and with bones and all. And I don't know, those are the only ones that come into mind. But I think that is a really cool part of it. And I do like that part of this movie a lot, that they actually consumed her, which, you know, is kind of like they did it in the movie, but it's like representative of how, you know, people do get, like you said, it chewed up and spit out in this industry.
Yeah, that's a really great point. Because if you think, I was also watched a few episodes of this show called Death by Fame. And it's just stories of people rising to fame and maybe getting a stalker and the stalker killing them, or like whatever the case may be. And it is not hard to any of us to think of an example we've heard about where you have every single one of the majority of all of them start out young, new, naive, wanting to be a famous singer, wanting to be a famous actor, a famous model, whatever it is. And they go with all these high hopes. And then just the industry, the rejection, the constant rejection, more rejection than green lights, right? People like judging you, people tearing you apart online. Like you might have not have ever thought about something in particular about your physical appearance. Then somebody leaves a comment, oh, you have a big nose, you have this, and they're just tearing you apart. As you rise in fame, you're being more torn apart. You're being canceled. You're being uplifted. It's like a roller coaster. It's exhausting. Exploited. You're being used. You don't know who you can trust. And so this all came to my mind of we're literally consuming these people. We're consuming their self-confidence. We're like, we need more from you, more from you, more from you. Oh, you do one thing wrong. I hate you. I'm going to tear you apart. This is what I need you to represent. This is what I need you to say. This is who I need you to be, or I'm going to tear you apart. This is what we do to celebrities.
Yeah.
Wow, we suck.
Or anybody.
I'm just kidding.
Like amount of fame, or anybody, you know, like that you're in competition with. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. There's something I do feel like there's something to this movie in the way that there's some nugget of truth in it from that standpoint. Mm-hmm. Like, and I don't know if you remember, but I can't remember if I mentioned this actually, but when we watched Starry Eyes, I was like not in love with Starry Eyes because I had already seen this movie. And I felt like I've seen this done better, and it's The Neon Demon. And I think I stand by that. I might have to do another rewatch of Starry Eyes, but I remember just not being super impressed with that. I felt like it had some good ideas and good themes, but this is what I think this movie does well. Mm-hmm. That maybe that didn't do as well.
100%. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I have some quotes here, and then I have like some of my favorite scenes and I want to hear more from you. But I have this thing here again from my boy, Derek Jacobs from Plot and Theme. He talks about, Derek. Yeah, he just, as I was reading, I'm like, this so well said, so well said. I swear I looked at more things besides just his article, but he was so good. So he talks about mirrors and vanity and self-reflection, and also mirrors as mental and physical harm. Like, for example, when she smashed the mirror and the glass went everywhere, and then Jesse's hand was cut, and then the other girl went over and like licked her blood out of her hand. So sometimes, and he mentioned this, and I didn't notice this in the movie, but looking back, so well done. Sometimes we're not even aware we're looking at a reflection until the camera zooms out or pans slightly. It comes off as a bit of a facade, as if we're not looking at genuine representations of the character on the screen, but only an approximation, which gels well with the theme of artificiality of a manufactured corporate serving of beauty. Like, come on, that was a great quote.
Yeah. Corporate serving of beauty.
Yeah, so good. I liked this as well. It also firmly establishes the film as a parable Murdering and consuming our main character to assume her beauty and powers is almost mythical in its construction, but is played at face value here. And if that wasn't enough, when one of her rivals pukes up a full eyeball as a visceral rejection of Jessie's beauty, either because she was not worthy of it or couldn't handle the guilt, you've got to recognize how crazy it all is. So yeah, guys, the one model is just riddled with guilt. She's on a photo shoot. She's like the main model in the photo shoot. She goes in the back. She throws up the eyeball. She stabs herself saying, I need to get her out of me. And then her friend, who caught the eye of the photographer, she's waiting for her chance. She was just like there supporting her friend. He's like, ooh, I like you. Puts her in the shoot. Leans over and eats the eyeball and then goes out and is ready for her photo shoot. And she was always the kind of nicer one of the three mean girls, I felt, throughout. She had something in her eyes sometimes where and then she completely turned, was the most evil.
She also was like a little bit more, I don't know, like real. Like she was like honest about what was going on around them, and she was just like more frank and direct. But yeah, you're right. In the end, she was just as cutthroat, you know? Okay, I definitely wanted to talk about the parable part of this, because I was definitely feeling that watching it. Like, you kind of can't watch this movie and take it as like so literally, you know? Because there's a lot of shit that happens that you're like, what the fuck? Like, there's a panther that gets in the bedroom. You're like, this is crazy. But I think I took it as like that panther was sent by the witches. Like that was like their first attempt to like destroy her, because later when they're in the house, there's like all these statues of big cats. I don't know if you noticed that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if that was the intent though, but that's like weird. That's like a very dreamlike thing to happen, you know?
Yeah, that's a really good point. So I believe it was a mountain lion. And so I didn't recognize that because a panther.
Panther. Panthers are black. That's, yeah.
No, but so there's lots of mountain lions in LA. So I thought that this is an odd occurrence, but they don't seem too surprised in the sense that because there's lots of mountain lions. So I didn't even think about that. But I totally missed all the big cats later
in that house. But I feel like I've come really around to these. After watching Speak No Evil, we talked about how they intended that movie to be, or the director intended that to be like a fable like thing where it's like you're not watching, you're supposed to take it as more of like a, you know, fairy tale story or whatever. It's like very dream like. And I feel like since then I've come around to like that kind of style, and I'm just much more on board with it than I think I would have been before. So I do feel that way about this movie, because there's a lot of moments where you're like when the girls get attacked next door, you're like, why don't you just call the cops? Or like, you know, there was something else that I was like, you would just do X. Like, why would you do this? Or, you know, but we're so insular. Like we are only, you know, with Jessie and her boyfriend sometimes and her experiences and these women. That's it. And like, we don't get anything else. And that feels like a dream sequence, but I feel like it's intentional. And I kind of like that about it.
Yeah, I agree. I like that about it too. And I like that in movies as well. Yeah. I have this quote here. Once we're in this realm, interpretation becomes more fluid and free. The industry doesn't have to literally chew someone up, rape and murder young girls, or bathe in the blood of virgins to have a metaphorical effect, which mirror these physical insults. Instead, it functions through leering, self-important talent scouts who will dismiss women after a single look, a cohort of women who will undermine and exploit each other for their own benefit, or a race to the bottom of physical alteration, ultimately producing a homogeneous version of objective beauty for the public's consumption. Pun intended.
Yeah, well said. That's like a perfect summation.
Said, my friend Derek.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I was gonna say also, this reminds me, you were saying a second ago about her feeling guilty and cutting herself open and throwing up the eye.
Mhm.
Maybe that could be seen as some sort of revenge from Jesse, like from the grave, kind of like. But I did get the sense that she just felt guilty because she was looking down into the pool.
Yeah, and she was struggling shortly after. You could tell it was on her mind. She was struggling with it. I think is when they were at that photo shoot and she was getting her hair done with that other the other girl, the other model. She was like kind of off.
Yeah.
So I think besides the visuals of this movie, I did like the horrific parts, and the end really delivers. I think one of the first ones where there's a lot of different things, but the sex with the corpse situation.
I was like, at some point we're going to have to talk about this. Yeah.
Okay, this was one of those things. This is one of my, I think, probably one of my favorite scenes, if not my favorite scene in the movie. That's really disturbing. But the reason is because it was so disturbing and so well done. Saltburn-esque. Right. She did such a great job moving into that. So we have Ruby. She does makeup on corpses as well as a day job. And so she goes in there. She's been rejected by Jesse. There is a dead woman. And she starts fondling her and then pleasures herself with the corpse. The corpse, first of all, was so realistic looking.
Yeah.
I felt like I was really watching someone do that.
Yeah.
It's so disgusting, you guys. I know I said it was one of my favorite scenes, but I think because it was so well done and so realistic that I even had to turn away and I felt a little nauseated. That's powerful reactions to have to a scene. So that's why I thought it was great.
Totally agree. It takes a lot, I think, for both of us to be disturbed at this point, to be honest, just because we watch and consume so much. And this is a truly disturbing scene. I don't even remember it from my first watch. I think I must have just blocked it out entirely. And this is something that really deeply disturbs me. Like necrophilia in general just is so disturbing to me. And I think I also looked away. It's so crazy because we watch so much gore, and other people tell me that they look away. But I was like, please let it be over. You know, like I'm like, I'm so done watching this. But you're right, that it is effective because it is shocking. And I was like, oh, I made Felicia watch this.
Yes. Oh, it was so shocking. I gagged. I was like, oh, but then I was like looking at it like, holy shit, she's doing an amazing job.
Yeah.
She is just incredible.
Ugh.
And then I think the other really, really disgusting thing was the eyeball. Because when she was gagging, I hate vomiting. And then she's vomits up and this eyeball, and then she pops in her mouth. I was like, oh God, no. Oh God.
Yeah. God, anybody who watched Saltburn and was disturbed, do not watch this movie, because the necrophilia scene is fucking like way worse than anything in Saltburn, in my opinion.
Yeah. If you were flipping your lid and super disturbed by bathroom water drinking, don't watch this movie.
Yeah. You'll have a heart attack on this one.
Yes.
I can't believe I forgot about that entirely.
This will ruin you. Absolutely ruin you.
Totally. Any innocence you have left will be ruined.
Will be ruined
by this scene. Oh my God.
Don't watch it. And that's just based on if you were one of the people that said that Saltburn was very, very, very disturbing.
Yeah.
You will be ruined by this.
Ugh.
I have this trivia. There wasn't a whole lot, but the film was shot in chronological order, and the ending was created and improvised on set, according to Elle Fanning. So I wonder, now that I read that out, if it was the ending Meaning when they consumed her and all of that, or the eyeball thing? No, couldn't have been, because they would have needed to have all of those props and everything. Or was it just the end that I didn't get, where there was like a girl on the beach, right? Was this just like...
Oh, yeah, that was weird. I forgot about that.
Maybe that was improvised, because I didn't really understand what that was, unless it was hearkening back to more innocent times. I didn't really find anything either online. I specifically looked up what did the ending mean, and they always go to the eyeball and the which wasn't technically the ending, right? Because we had that last scene, but
yeah. Interesting. I thought it was more in relation just desert. I feel like is typically used as like a visual representation of skin when it like gets dry or old or wrinkled or whatever, because it's like, I don't know, the passing of time and beauty and skin. I don't know. That's what I took from it. But it's weird to have a person there, and it feels like it is that person who is left alive at the end. The model, I don't know. So that was
I do like that though with the skin. Tawny, you are way smarter than me. I did not pick up on that at all.
I don't know though. I feel like I'm reaching.
I like it though. I like your reach.
Yeah, well, thank you.
It has here, one of the film's most striking features is the use of color. Yes, one of the things I like the most. In an interview with director Nicolas Winding Refn, he stated that he is in fact colorblind, and he can only perceive contrast and primary colors.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Interesting. Elle Fanning, this is disturbed me a little bit, but this is the industry, which harkens back to when I was working at an agency for child stars. Elle Fanning was 16 years old when the film started shooting. She turned 17 during filming and 18 when it was actually premiered, when it finally premiered. But I just thought, young kids. Oh, that's what it was. That's right. I'm sorry. I had to call a woman. There was going to be a movie where they needed an infant, and her baby was a newborn.
Okay.
And she was like, yeah, totally. I'll take it. That's what it was. Sorry. And I was like, dude, she just brought this baby into the world. And I was like, we need a newborn. Throw this newborn into this movie where other people are going to be handling it and other stuff is going to be happening. That's what it was. Sorry. Total side note, but
that's crazy that she was actually 16. I guess I just assumed she was older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My last little trivia, which I thought was interesting-ish, is originally a crew member was going to break the mirror. So this is when they're in the bathroom after the audition, break the mirror in the bathroom. However, when he hit the mirror with a heavy vase, nothing happened. Nick, the director, panicked. So in a last-minute effort, he asked Abby, who was the model in the bathroom with Jesse, to throw a trash can into the mirror in one shot, hoping for the best. So she throws it in there. He's recording. He's hoping for the best. On first take, the mirror broke into 100 pieces. And this is the shot that was used in the film.
Wow.
After that, to make it more horrific, Jessie cuts her hand on the glass, and Abby rushes over like a rabid animal and like starts sucking the blood from her hand.
Yeah. Ugh. Interesting.
Yeah. That's the only trivia. There wasn't that much trivia.
Okay. I'm really curious to know how much of the end was ad-libbed, like you said. Or like, not ad-libbed, but improvised. Like, at what point do we start
improvising? There's no way it's the eyeball. I mean, you would have to have all those effects, right? You would have to have that whole thing, and now I'm going to eat the eyeball, or no, was it? Did these women, they're like, okay, you're on a photo shoot, and let's see what happens.
Right. Yeah. I don't know.
We're on a photo shoot, because all of that could have been improvised, right? Because they have to set up the photo shoot and what characters are going to be at this photo shoot. So all of that had to be in there. And then they're like, okay, you feel guilty. You get a big break. Go.
Yeah, totally. Well, yeah, I guess I assumed that there might, it'd be like less, like in the moment improvisation. It'd be like, okay, now that we've shot 80% of this movie, let's sit down and figure out where we think this is going. And then they just go and because they could have done it that way.
Oh,
too.
yeah.
But I don't know. But yeah, like, what does that mean? You can improvise a scene. You can improvise a day of shooting. You can.
The film was shot in chronological order and the ending was created and improvised on set.
On set. Okay. Yeah. Weird.
I wonder too. Sorry I didn't look more into that. That would have been a good.
That's okay. We could see if we can find any more about that. But
maybe literally they filmed it all and then they're like, now what do we do? Let's go to the desert.
Yeah, totally.
Let's put Abby in the desert with those cool braids. Let's do those cool braids in her hair and let's put her in the desert. Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, sounds great.
Why are we doing this? I don't know, like dry skin and age.
Yeah.
Abby is like gonna get old, Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
we'll just let that.
She's still gonna get old, even though she ate a young person.
Yeah. She's the now it girl though, but she's old, so her time is not gonna be long.
Yeah, I feel like that's the thing about this movie is I feel like there's a lot of great ideas and there's like some really good seeds of things and like I like some of the themes, but it just doesn't quite tie it up in like a very satisfying or intentional way. It does feel like they improvised the end. Like, what? Okay. I thought we were going somewhere else, but I guess this is where we are. But it is visually stunning. Yeah, you've mentioned a lot about that. Mm-hmm. That is definitely the thing that has stuck with me the most. I don't remember. Did you watch the whole like credits sequence? Because there's the whatever that is, the desert walking scene. But I think after that, I turned it off too soon. But I'm pretty sure after that, there's like a cool glitter thing. Okay.
There's glitter.
Okay.
I remember this because I went, ooh, it's pretty.
Yeah.
Because I love glitter. I love pretty. Sparkle. Yeah. I thought, ooh, this is pretty.
Yeah, it's really neat.
That's it, though. That's all I thought.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. That's this movie in a nutshell, basically. It's pretty.
Yeah, it's pretty. Mm-hmm.
And I do feel like that's what this director does well. Like he does really well creating like a vibe and really nailing that. It's just the story where I feel like this guy struggles a lot. And that's why Drive is the best, one of his movies. Only God Forgives is an incoherent mess, but it looks cool. It's got a cool vibe. But yeah.
Ooh. Okay, I'm going to have to watch Drive. I know I really feel like I've seen it before, but I didn't recognize like the jacket you had. And then when I looked it up because you were talking about it, I didn't recognize a lot of it. So maybe I just forgot. But yeah, I'm looking right over here because on my laptop, because I created the graphics, I pulled a bunch of Neon Demon posters. I feel like I want them hanging on my wall, and not because I love this movie, but because even the movie posters are so freaking gorgeous.
Yeah, so cool looking. And so shout out to, what was her name? Natasha Baer, I think.
Natasha Breyer.
Mm-hmm. Just an amazing job. I mean, the cinematography is like off the charts. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous. Stunning. The lighting. Just the shots, like through, like you were saying, through the mirrors. Like I love that first conversation between her and Ruby where they're like, we're doing like an over the shoulder of them, but through the mirror. Like, I don't know if I've ever seen that before or since. It's just so good.
I also need to say, maybe, because I've never done this, but I think we need to call out the makeup artist.
Oh, yeah.
For this movie. Aaron Aonian was the artist on that show. There's probably several artists, but
yeah.
Hers is what comes up first. Job. Oh my God, even the gold paint. Like,
yeah, that was cool.
Just, if you like makeup and fashion, just watch the movie just for that. So go into it for that and you will be happy. Stunning.
Yes. Yeah. As long as you can handle an eyeball being thrown up.
Ooh, you might want to fast forward on the morgue scene. Unless you do like that type of makeup, like special effects body makeup, then you might want to take a look because that was a really good corpse.
Yeah, that looked very real.
Ugh. All right. Do you have anything else?
Nope.
All right. Neither do I. Let's rate this movie. Now that the sun is shining bright into your little office space.
It is. It's so bright.
What are you going to rate this movie?
I think I'm going to give this a 3.4 because I immediately went back to Starry Eyes. I already mentioned that. And I just feel like this movie does a better job of getting across kind of the same themes and concepts. And I gave Starry Eyes a 3.25, but I could not go up to like a 3.5 because the other movies I've given a 3.5 are like The Fourth Kind, Possum, Hocus Pocus 2, and there were some like, I don't know, there were some like problems with those movies, but I did like them probably more. The only other movie that I'm seeing that I gave a 3.4 is Titan. And I feel like that's on par in a way that like there are some things that I really like about this movie. Visually, it's stunning. I feel like it's got some cool ideas. It's neat, but like it doesn't tie up in the way that I feel like it could or should. And I just feel like there's a lot of like missed opportunities and lost potential as we move through the movie. But it's still like, it's not the worst fucking movie I've ever seen for sure. So, that's where I landed. 3.4.
I am going to give the same 3.4. I thought, oh no, maybe I'll do a 3.35 or something like that. But then I gave Freaky a 3.4. And I really enjoyed that for a comedy, but it also had some I felt like, okay, totally different movies. I think equal as far as the enjoyment experience, except one I was laughing, the other one I was vomiting. But, you know.
Yeah.
So I also am going to do a 3.4.
Okay.
All right. Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. We look forward to being with you again in March. So be on the lookout of what we have coming up next. I'll try to be a good girl and post some other interaction on the site. Thank you so much for just sticking with us. And, you know, we're not losing followers despite my my ineptness to just freaking post something. So we love you and appreciate you. That being said, if you like us, please do follow us on Instagram at twochicksandahorrorflick, or you can search for us on your favorite social media platform and we will be there. You can follow us there. And what else, Tawny?
You can support the show by giving us a like, review, and subscribe on whatever podcatcher you're listening to us on. And again, don't forget to check out Magic Mind at magicmind.com/Jan2chicks, and you can use the promo code 2chicks20. But that's it for now, so we will see you in March. We hope you have such a good night. No nightmares.